All right, it's Royce Unchained, presented by Valley Auto Group, which we'll tell you about a little bit later on here. But, Pat, we have one question Vikings-related going into this weekend here. The Buccaneers lost last night. They put up a valiant effort. They lost to the Buffalo Bills. And that means the Minnesota Vikings, based on tiebreaker, are in the playoffs right now. They are the 7 seed right now today. Do you believe in the 2023 Vikings?
I believe they will make the playoffs, and will be playing Detroit in the last, two of the last 3 games of the season, right, to decide the feisty North. And whoever gets, if they get to 9-8, they are in the new remodeled NFL playoffs, where you have that extra wild card team. 7 teams, and yes, I think you only have to win 9 to get in. So they should win 9, especially when you look at the schedule that's ahead here. They have probably played the hard part of their schedule, right, for a while. Then it gets a little
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on how good the Lions are in a month and a half, but yes.
Sure, yeah, it obviously does. It depends upon how good everybody is in a month and a half, because who knows, Yeah, okay. Right now your offensive line looks pretty good, and one of the tackles breaks his leg, and it doesn't look quite as good. So it's you never know about with the NFL and injuries. And as I said, I was very relieved that I was watching 2 straight night games in the NFL, and both times we had a sideline report saying that the guy they took to the hospital had movement in his limbs. So that was, this is not your average game where you can just say, "Oh, this is what we got." Well, you got it this week. Let's see what we got next week. Injuries are. I've always said if you get 2 of your regulars hurt during the season and miss them, that's good. If you get 6 hurt, you're in trouble. And right now, I wouldn't say they're in trouble. They're pretty good health wise. So
yeah.
But yeah, that game. If that's going to be their game that they played Monday night, if that's going to be the way they play, hell yes, they're in the playoffs. They're not only are they in the playoffs, they're a contender in the playoffs. They're better than they were last year if that's what they're going to play, because the offensive line is definitely better than last year when they're healthy. So.
Yes.
I think the question is, though, in a bunch of those games before this is, where was that, and can you eliminate the mistakes like the fumbles? And we've talked about this, Pat. They're like 23rd in red zone touchdown efficiency. Like, if you can punch the ball in and not fumble in this league, you're probably in great shape. But that's easier said than done, as clearly evidenced by the first 6 games of the season.
Well, even Monday night, they put you on the 1 yard. The referees put you on the 1 yard line, and you end up kicking a field goal. That's not good. When they're on the 1, the other team's sitting there whining about the call. Run in the end zone. What the hell? What are you waiting for?
They did try a tush push from the 1.5 yard line.
Take the 8A. Why doesn't the NFL come out tomorrow and say the tush push is not legal? Why do they have to wait?
Well, you know what? Season? They might. So there were 2 tush pushes in that Monday night game. One, the Vikings tried from like the 2 and failed, and then the other one was the play that Brock Purdy got a concussion on. And it was kind of a half-hearted tush push. It was a sneak, and then McCaffrey came in late and shoved him right into a linebacker coming full speed. That's the type of thing that would get it banned, right? The safety.
Yeah, I would. Well, it was the football was a better game when it was illegal, when you could not push the receiver, a running back or a runner from behind. You could not do it for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden it just became legal. And the Gophers didn't go to a Rose Bowl once because they got called for a penalty at Wisconsin for aiding the ball carrier down at the goal line in the 1962 game that the Wisconsin went to the Rose Bowl. And there was another penalty that was bad too, but back then you couldn't do it. I don't know when it suddenly became legal, and now it's stupid. It's ridiculous that they allow this to happen. And
as a Notre Dame fan 18 years ago, I agree.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
and that
I was there.
not
I was there
legal
for
at the
that game.
time.
I was there for the Bush push.
And that should have been illegal in that
That
game.
was a penalty. They didn't call it back then.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is amazing how this legal. Yeah. The other thing, and I was talking to Judd about this the other day too, is the way we are picking off defensive backs with the, you just run a receiver left to right, and then the other guy coming to right just goes like this, picks
You
up the defensive
run a mesh
back,
concept. Yes.
and it's legal, and that was always illegal too. Bud used to go nuts when they did that. When other teams did that, his team probably did it too.
But if you keep moving, it's hard to. That's the thing. If you stop and like actually set a pick, obviously a penalty.
Okay, but you slow down and you go, ooh,
it's an accident. I'm sorry.
I accidentally hit him.
Let me just scoop by you there.
I don't know where this became all of a sudden. Oh, isn't it funny? But you're right that if Purdy getting a concussion on it, they can use that as an excuse to get rid of it. Although they could just say no, it's not legal. But they're probably gonna play it out this season, right?
Oh, they are.
Some teams have made a big deal out of it, but it's going down the chute at the end after this season. And I don't know what you exactly make illegal, because I'm not a big guy on giving the NFL officials more excuses to call penalties, because they can come up with some crapola anyway that's incredible. But this thing is just so stupid that it's unbelievable. That when one guy came and gave him a nice little push, that's okay. When you get the entire 8 guys pushing a guy, it's stupid. It's rugby. It's rugby. It's damn rugby. That's what it is.
It is very rugby-like, or Australian rules football. I don't know what the difference
But
is.
yeah, I mean, that's the Vikings are, what the heck? If Kirk's gonna actually when 2 guys are around him ready to hit him and he gets the ball away instead of falling down like he usually does, I would think that the turnovers, as Judd says, you can't keep turning it over, but that some of that too is it's mathematically impossible for them to keep turning it over as much as they have.
That's what I've kept saying, but I mean,
at first, but then they just kept doing it.
But it is still mathematically impossible. Yes.
Yes. I mean, they could go 4 or 5 games with only 2-3 turnovers, but I think they were a good looking football team Monday night. There's no doubt about it.
Do they beat the Packers on Sunday?
Oh God, yes. Packers are awful. Jordan Love's terrible. And they don't know what they're doing. Their offensive line. Hey, Bakhtiari's hurt. We've discussed that.
I think he's out for the season now. I think he's officially done again.
He's out for life. But next year they'll be telling us, he's going to be our left tackle.
He's going to be a great podcaster in like 2 years, though, right?
Yes.
He's going to be.
Yes. Remember that game you played, David, 7 years ago that you were before you got hurt? And before they gave you $100 million to not play. Packers are bad, and we were talking a couple of days ago. This could be a while. They must be paying a big penalty for Rodgers' contract, right?
They are paying a cap hit. Let's take a look at that real quick. I think they're eating some this year.
They must be eating something, because they're. I don't know. I got to think Brian Gutekunst is going to take the fall, don't you, at the end of this year?
Mm-hmm. But shouldn't he get like a year of transition off Rodgers?
Yeah.
Or are they just gonna?
Well, they're probably gonna blame him for this is his guy that he drafted 3 years ago, and if he's, I don't know.
God, they're paying a $40 million dead cap hit for Aaron Rodgers this year.
Yes. Yeah, that's part of the.
They're like the Wild. How are they supposed to win? How are they supposed to win?
How can they
cap
win?
Is killing us.
Yeah, what's it next year?
Last night that cap hit gave up 5 or 6. What did we give up last night? 5, was it? 5?
6, right, Declan?
6 or they made it a 1-goal game in the third, and then it
deteriorated. Kirill had a turnover in the neutral zone that was absolutely awful. Kirill has not really looked like Kirill on a consistent basis yet, but it is very early, so we'll see.
Yeah, it is very early. But anyway, Yeah, I think what's the number? What are the Vikes by about 4 this weekend?
Vikes by 1
What?
right now.
Oh, it's moved to Vikes 1.
Okay. St. Croix's open, right? St. Croix's open.
Yeah, get in your car right now.
I'm going right now.
Wait, it's changed in the last hour. It's 1.5 now.
For the Vikes?
1.5 Vikings.
Oh boy.
It keeps moving.
Don't get too confident.
Only
in
1.5. They're giving away money. They're giving away money, ladies and gentlemen.
The last time you told us this, Pat, I got a feel. I think you had declared the next week that you would have lost your house.
Oh God, yes, yeah. That happens a few times. As I always say, 40 years ago, or more than 40 years ago, when I had a bookie and then I quit drinking, I said, sobriety and gambling do not mix. They're not good. People would think being sober would help you as a gambler, but it does not help your nerves. You get too nervous when you're sober to gamble. But
hey, wait, how about this though? So I'm spoiling some of our Purple Picks episode that we're going to record for Saturday, but so Vikings are 1.5 right now, favorites. According to Action Network, 93% of the money is on the Packers.
Oh wow!
What?
Mm-hmm. I think people are looking and saying, okay, Vikings just hit a peak with this big emotional win. Short week, road game. Packers have been embarrassed 3 straight weeks. People are going to be too high on the Vikings, too low on the Packers.
With all these emotional angles, does anybody ever say, which team's the best? Which team is the best? Lambeau, oh man, the magic of Lambeau. That's a bunch of crap. They've lost some awful games in Lambeau in the last few years, including conference championship games when they laid down like dogs. The magic of Lambeau is gone. Forget that. The magic of the home field. Everywhere but basketball, the magic of the home field is gone. There is no home field advantage anymore.
Ricey just made it official. The Vikings lose by 10.
I was going to say, I'm getting very nervous.
No, I think they win easy. Packers are terrible. They're terrible.
To your point about the magic being gone, think about this. Oh, God. In the playoffs, you've got one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. You're playing a snow game in Green Bay, Wisconsin, against a team from California, and you can't score. You can't beat them in the championship game.
Yeah, well, two of his last 3 years, right? They lost the championship
Tampa Bay,
game,
right?
At
Tampa Bay,
Lambeau,
right? Yeah.
That Tampa Bay game where no one could score, and then they finally got
Was
a
that
It
Lambeau?
hasn't been the same since Brett's last game over there, right? Since they or was it his second? It was his second to last year.
The Giants playoff game.
Giants when the Giants.
That's last game.
His last game there.
Yeah, that was his last game.
Awful pass.
It hasn't been. That it was freezing. It was everything they wanted. Brett. They were 13-3 that year or something like that, and then they.
38-year-old Brett did not want that.
No.
28-year-old Brett loved that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's I don't. Are anybody going? You making the drive, Judd?
No.
Okay.
Comfort in my couch and then vent line.
Are you gonna be? Are you gonna be at Gophers Michigan State Snow Bowl tomorrow?
Yeah, planning on.
Is it gonna snow?
Be in the press box.
Is it gonna snow?
30%
How about our poor prep lads here in Minnesota the last month? We had this wonderful drought. Every night it's either driving rain. Now they're going to freeze. And now all the games are on. I mean, they're playing tonight in 6A, but everybody else is playing Saturday. They're going to get snowed on, freeze to death.
Football's meant to be played.
Yeah, no.
Toughen these young men up.
I'd rather play I would rather watch in snow than rain. I can't stand rain football games. I would rather, but I don't know how the players feel about that. My football career wasn't distinguished enough to have played in many of those games.
I think the problem with the rain is the chafing, like everything's wet.
Well, the pads, the stink. The stink is what's bad. Hey, how about those Wisconsin Badgers coached by Mike Hastings coming in and giving a whopping to the Gophers last night, 5-2.
I switched right from the Wild's terrible loss, and I thought I'm going to see how the Gophers are doing because I bet they're kicking some Wisconsin butt. Bad night for Minnesota hockey.
Jackson Nelson, a kid from Laverne, scored 15 seconds into the game for the Gophers. And after that, Mike Hastings has had a very good record against. When he was at Mankato, he beat him a bunch of times, beat him bloody in the national semifinals 2 years ago. And now he's down there. They're mad at him in Mankato because he took a few of their players with him. And his assistant coach, Todd Knott, was offered the Mankato job, and he went to Wisconsin instead with Hastings as his ace recruiter. So they play again tonight. But all you got to know about how TV runs the world, right? Even the Big Ten Network. All they got to play at 8:00 on Thursday and Friday night instead of on the weekend. Because because they go for a home football game, they didn't want them playing Saturday. But I don't think it would have. The Gophers are playing 11, right?
2:30 football.
This rotten game is a 2:30 game. God Almighty!
They got to fill slots, man. There's got to be. I mean, they have the big noon game is probably something. I haven't looked at the schedule, but on Fox, right?
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know when they go, but that's probably maybe that's why they wanted to play Thursday, Friday. But Big Ten Network too was made them start at 8:00. But I watched quite a bit of that game and was surprised by the outcome.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway. And then give us your official World Series prediction here, starting tonight.
Texas in 5. Texas in 5. This Arizona bubble has got to burst.
Texas has never won it, right?
Correct.
No,
they were this close in 2011.
Nelson
Cruz not catching that fly ball. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ron Washington, that was too bad. Wash could have been a World Series winning manager. And then they made him quit because he had a girlfriend, for God's sakes, in baseball. What? He might be the first guy ever to break his marital vows in baseball, don't you think? Maybe one of the first ever.
Didn't they? Was that where they framed it that he had like a relapse with cocaine or something too?
There was something of that.
He had some other thing that it might have been a cover for something. I don't know.
It was a tough loss.
I know. I remember he went.
Stuff happens.
So yeah, he's coaching third for who now? Dusty, right? Wasn't he coaching? Was he coaching?
I thought it was NL. I think it's somewhere in the NL. I think.
Atlanta.
Yes,
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Gary Pettis coaches third for Houston.
Hey, Dusty Dusty must have given the scoop to Bob Nightingale, huh? I think he had broken USA Today, so he and Bobby Senior go way back. So that's he gave the scoop to Nightingale that it was pretty well known that he was going to give it up, but he gave the scoop to him. So
yeah,
it seems like he added 2 years too. He's 74 now. I thought he was 71 or 2, but now that he's quitting, he's 74. So good for Dusty.
Pretty good baseball life. Hey Pat, before we say goodbye, tell our audience about your favorite car dealership, if you could.
Jim Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers and Brett Paul, Jim and Brett Paul, Valley Group of GM dealers, located in Hastings, and my guys out in Apple Valley. As I've been telling you, I've bought my last 5. I've counted them up, my last 5 new cars, which is over about a 12-year period. Wow. Hey, I've kept this one though for 3 years. That's pretty good for me by my standards. I usually like to go out there and turn them over, but I've been very happy. Now, I've been a sedan guy, and now I got a convertible, but those SUVs look very tempting out there. Mm-hmm. It'd take me a little getting used to the screen they have on those, though. The screen that sits.
You get used to it pretty quick. I turned to the SUV life about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Haven't looked back. It's great.
Yeah, I don't know how you look at the screen and drive at the same time, but I'm sure that if I buy one of those at Jim Paul's Valley Group and Brett Paul's Valley Group, they'll explain it to me. They won't just send me out into the wilderness and say, "Take your chances, buddy." They will take care of me. They take great care of you, and the good deals. I'm very satisfied with the deals because I keep going back there. Yes. If I thought that I wasn't paying the right price, I wouldn't go back there constantly. Right. So. Go out and say hello to Brett Paul or Jim Paul and check. If you're looking for a new SUV to take your kid to hockey practice, that's the place to go. Jim Paul's Valley Group We're in Hastings, and we're in Apple Valley.
Love it. There it is. All right. Royce Unchained here on
Packers lose. Go to St. Croix. Make some money. But you can bet on it. You can bet what, and then you can go out and buy the new car.
There
with
it
what
is.
you know.
I like it.
This is great.
You can make your down
great
payment on the new
advice.
car.
Planning
Go
your
to St.
weekend
Croix.
here. It'd be
Pick
great.
me up. I'll go.
All right.
All right. See
See
you,
you
Pat.
guys.
We'll talk to you
Goodbye.
next week. So there's Royce Unchained. You heard it from the man.